Unfortunately, it's complicated. It's not as one-sided as it may seem, but there is a reality of my wife emotionally abusing me since we've been married, past 4 years, and I just want a place to put it out there so I can get it out of me. My background: I am a product of an emotionally abusive mother and emotionally negligent father. I was completely oblivious to this reality until I met my wife about 9 years ago. I lived a very restricted and suppressed life, and was severely underdeveloped emotionally, mentally, and socially. I was raised solely to be my mom's pet, who herself, I would say, has the emotional development of a 3-year-old, so you can imagine my emotional development ceiling was very low. My dad is spineless, thus enabling, and he didn't want to have to deal with his wife's issues, so he threw the responsibility of being my mom's emotional partner onto me. And my mom kept that emotional partnership one way, from me to her, to benefit her. She never clued me into her own brokenness, or the world's complexities, despite knowing about them and suffering from them herself. I just lived in a bubble where I got my sole nurturance from my mom and thought accordingly that my mom could do no wrong and I didn't need to reach out to the world further than that. That's the life I lived for 25 plus years or so. When I started dating my wife, I opened up about my mom's innocent charades around the house and towards me, and she would give me meaningful feedback that was meant for me. I gravitated towards this and our relationship continued. Over time, my emotional pet dom started shifting towards my girlfriend. I can truly say that my girlfriend had the best of intentions in her heart towards me. While dating, she listened to my issues, pushed me to make small changes in the right direction, pushed me to move out of the house, and to live for myself. She was interested in me thriving for myself because that's the nurturance she had gotten from her parents growing up. This was completely opposite of my mom's emotional approach towards me, who was either disinterested in me when she was otherwise occupied or interested in me thriving so that I bring back some emotional, social, or financial nurturance back to her. My wife and I got married about 4 years ago, and my mom created a lot of issues leading up to the wedding, and right after. At first, my mom was supportive of my relationship with my girlfriend because she could see I was getting good guidance from her, which would have made its way to her eventually, but at some point, she saw that I was starting to distance myself from my mom. Also, my wife is a strong personality who held strong opinions and wasn't bowing down to my mom's emotionally manipulative ways. My mom was looking to bring my wife in line with her emotional expectations so she could treat her just like how she treated me growing up and mind my girlfriend's emotional, mental, social, and financial resources just the same. All of these emotional issues put a lot of strain on my marriage with my wife. Admittedly, I was being spineless both because you become the man your father is, that's what I had seen at home, and also because I had never stood up to my mom before. She is emotionally manipulative, clever, and very pushy. My wife fought hard with me to force me to take a stand. And I did. I went no contact with my family soon after getting married. My wife's background: she's a year younger than me, is an overachiever, skipped 2 grades in high school, and finished medical school at the age of 23. She's a doctor and is knowledgeable about personality disorders. Her parents have high emotional intelligence, but her dad suffers from a personality disorder that led to a lot of anger being around the house as she grew up. She took a lot of that anger and bitterness on for herself, both because she was vulnerable as a child but also to share in her supportive dad's emotional world. Her dad was there for every step of the way in her journey to become a doctor, but he was also physically and emotionally abusive to his wife and the rest of family. Suffice to say, she had a complicated but still emotionally close relationship with her dad growing up. Not only did I luck out meeting such an emotionally intelligent person, but it was exactly what I needed to be unseated from my destiny of my mom's pet forever in life. But given my wife's background, it is now clear to me that she was looking to take a person on as a project to fix their issues so she could vicariously help her dad. And fix my issues she did. She took on the full emotional burden my issues. She stood up to my mom. But this were the combinations of our issues resulting in a lot of abuse for me. Soon after the wedding, she realized the full reality of my emotional state, which I was still oblivious to. We were in a long-distance relationship prior to getting married, so a lot of the emotional issues remained hidden away. It wasn't until we started living with each other, and my mom's issues came up, that she saw me for the emotional pet I was. Her years of pent-up anger from her childhood came out and rained down on me. Me, wanting to appease my new emotional master, took it on. I took on emotional abuse. I took on physical abuse. She would slap me. I had gone no contact with my family, so I had nobody to turn to. Even if I had contact with them, I had no emotional relationship with any family member, so I couldn't have conveyed the emotional abuse. Worse, I didn't even have an understanding of an emotional world, so I couldn't even convey it to myself. I was navigating myself with only one conviction, which was to keep appeasing my emotional master. That's all I knew. I didn't want my marriage to break apart, because then I would have been alone truly, something I feared from my early years. This was the same reason I was an emotional pet to my mom. I didn't want her to disapprove of me so that she doesn't leave me, because she herself had put a fear of abandonment in me in early childhood so she could control me and raise me to be her pet. My wife took everything she knew about my issues and weaponized it against me. She guilt and shamed me, just like she had seen her dad do to other members of the family when she was growing up. Our two sets of issues fit like a glove. It was a perfect storm. She was prone to expelling her anger, emotionally and physically. I was prone to taking on any abuse because I didn't want to be alone. For 4 years, she shamed me. Guilt me. To make matters worse, we were both self-medicating with weed. That was our only escape. Together. I joke with her that first we had our geographical long-distance relationship. Then we had long-distance 2.0, where we were together physically but so apart emotionally. Only now, I am coming out of this treatment of me at the hands of my wife. I don't blame her. But I don't blame myself either. It's how our issues came together. I can say that she's a bit of pet herself. Of her dad. And me and her coming together was pet versus pet, and the better equipped pet had the upper hand. We are committed to each other and working through our issues. Divorce for us was never on the table, even if we said that that's what we felt and that was the only sane, rational end to our emotional hell. Time after time, we showed to each other that we just had a codependency with each other that we weren't willing to throw away. Instead, we wanted to work through our issues. The only part one want to speak to is that, us working through the issues, meant me taking on a lot of physical and emotional abuse, and I had no outlet to let anyone, including myself, know that I am being abused. I try to bring up the topic directly with my wife these days and she gets defensive, because it's a hard reality to face about her own childhood, and she shuts me down, with, you guessed it, more emotional abuse. We're working through it, but it's been hell.